This is the Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel and Steve Mr. Magic Carfino. Brought to you by Unibet, TCL Plex, and News Corp. What they gonna say next?
Hello and welcome to the Basketball Show. I'm Steve Carfino. This man alongside of me, of course, is Shane, the man who had 20 assists in one NBL game. Heel. Like to thank our sponsors, of course, Unibet, TCL Plex smartphones, and News Corp Australia. Those guys, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have a show. We're jam-packed. That's why we're starting in a two-shot. Let's get down to hammer time. What have you got for us, Shane Heel?
I am ready. Momentum is building with transparency of what the clubs are paying. Now, Andrew Bogut came out in the Daily Telegraph only a couple of weeks ago saying that all players' wages should be made public. I like that too, but I reckon we should start with the teams because now the Sydney Kings are winning. All the haters are coming out saying, yeah, but look how much they're paying. They've been paying a lot of money for 3 years, mate. No one said anything then. But when you look at it, really Ware and Bogut, they'd be making big money. Lazard free. Newley and Lish have taken pay cuts from what I understand to be here. Tate, I don't think Tate would have been that expensive to be able to sign him. Moller and Kickett, Bruce and Walker. Now Cook's coming in, but he's only here for 3 months. Yeah. So there wouldn't be big money. So, but when you look at Golding, Prather, Long, Trimble, McCarron, I'd love to know what both teams are actually paying. And what about the fans down there at Wollongong and also the fans up in Cairns? They should know. If their team's paying like a third of what the Kings and Melbourne are, then the expectations for the fans should be the same.
That's right. They should get some appreciation for the basketball that they are playing, especially the Cairns Taipans. They are doing it up. They are surpassing everybody's expectations, and the fans should know that, how much of a commitment those guys are getting for less money.
Let's make it happen. We want to know what's going on. Okay. Now let's get to Carfino's call, mate. What do you got?
Okay, let me get to my notes on this one.
Oh, prepared.
Okay, I want to know what you think. I want to see some comments on Facebook, baby. I want to see what you think about LaMelo Ball's triple doubles. Now, I'm going to give the man some credit. On that first one, I was there watching that game. I came with you, Shane, for the long ride back to Sydney. 32 points, 13 assists, and 11 rebounds. He was on point. Excellent game. No question about that one.
Big three, too.
That's the biggest one. Hit the three to send it in an overtime to get the win.
In a win.
But the second one, a little tainted, I think, against New Zealand. 25 points, 10 assists, 12 rebounds. Those are great stats. But I got the feeling he was chasing stats in that game. Now, the question is, for you people out there, is it more valuable for him to be chasing stats and getting triple doubles as many as he gets, a la Russell Westbrook, should be going for a record, or should he be trying to get his team to win? Because it clearly didn't look like that against New Zealand.
Do they combine? If he makes shots and gets assists, does it give his team more chance to win, though?
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. But I think probably the bigger question is, what would you do? You know, like if you're a number one pick,
it's a tough one.
Yeah, if you're like a number one pick, and it's important for them to see what you can bring to the table as far as an individual, the talent that you can bring. You know, like to go out there and get triple doubles. I'm sure that's raising his stock.
The only thing that I think that pulls it back is when he sprays up too many threes. I'd be saying to him, mate, limit your threes. You're actually hurting yourself on your scout. Keep getting yourself to the bucket because you draw rotations, you can get assists, but he's so good at being able to score as well. 1 from 11 from 3, and that's probably the only blight on his game, man. Probably a little bit of defense as well.
All right. So what would you do?
I think he's doing the right thing. I would do exactly what he's doing, but I wouldn't be spraying up the threes. If I had a technique like that, I'd pack it in, pack it up.
This is the Starting Five, brought to you by TCL Plex smartphones.
Thanks to the golden voice at the Sydney Kings, self-proclaimed voice of basketball, Rado.
He's the voice of basketball, mate.
Oh, I know. And he'll let you know it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
hey, I'm going to flip the script today, mate.
Himself.
For starting five. Number one, I'm throwing to you, mate. Right. I know you're another grumpy old guy with all these celebrations. Talk us through this guy at the free throw line with a jab step.
Right. I'm going to surprise you on this one because I know you're thinking I'm old school. I like tradition.
You don't like the jab step.
Three dribbles, spin the basketball, get the 2 fingers in one spot, knock it down. I know you think that's what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to say that because he did hit it. You know, the brother's getting a little bit of rhythm. He's doing a little bit of dance. You're a little jealous.
A jab step.
You're a little
at the free throw line. Yeah, that should be a violation.
He must never miss after he takes a jab step.
Oh my goodness.
Just like that. Little jealous. I know Dancing with the Stars might They'd give their annual call to you. You're going to have to turn them down.
Yep.
Brother's got
No
rhythm.
rhythm.
Knock the shot down. That's what I think right there. Let me move on to the next bit. How about Casey Prather's performance?
Well, mate, he looks like he's been out for the last 4 to 6 weeks, as you would imagine, right? You come back from being out 4 to 6 weeks, he's fumbling the ball, he's got no rhythm, his stroke's not there. Got to give the guy a little bit of time. He's a quality player. I had someone on Twitter saying, should they get rid of him?
What?
It's like, are you kidding me?
know.
In 4 weeks' time, Casey Prather will be back to playing his brilliant best.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Takes time, mate.
I was like, you know what? You dodge a bullet when he's not on top of his game. He still looks like he's chiseled.
He does.
Yeah.
Now, number 3, and you'll probably be able to answer this better than anybody, Xavier Cooks. You're pretty close to the family. He's come out and said that the Kings are the best development pathway to the NBA. Over Illawarra. Over his dad.
Yeah. Why are you acting like it's a surprise?
No, I think it's fair enough.
Yeah. He is a close friend of the family. You know, he still hangs out with my son, so we get privy to the information.
Yeah.
You know that it's an opportunity to play in his home country. The Sydney Kings, they're a great coach. They play a pro style of basketball. They're playing some great basketball, and it, you know, they're winning. There's a great system for him to show his skills, and you know he's expressed that, and he's gone with that. And good luck to him. And it must be a great situation if he doesn't play for his father at the Hawks.
And he gets to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he gets to live in Sydney.
Okay. All right, next. I like this next one.
All right, Ben Madgen back in form.
If I have one
love that.
person just attacking Madge on Twitter again, saying, you know, all kinds of rubbish. He's a quality player. He was always going to start making jump shots. 23 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 64% in a big win over Brisbane. He's all quality. He's going to be able to do that, but he'll play his role and he will be the best teammate, whether he's making shots or not.
Oh, yeah. I love Southeast Melbourne. I just love that team. They have surpassed every expectation you could possibly have. They got a great coach. They got a great leader in Mitch Creek and a number of guys that can step up on any given night. They're exciting. A new franchise, but they're super exciting. What we got for us?
Last one. We've got the mascots. Check this out in New Zealand, Steve. Take us through it, because if I was sitting next to my daughter and she soaked it up like this, I'd say, give it a hard rub and get on with it.
You are so full of rubbish.
But you're a softie. Come on.
I know. You're a softie right with me. You got all girls. You know what? The good Lord did not grace you with any boys, because they're like,
right.
You're a softie. And
That's because I'm fit.
Yeah.
All fit blokes have daughters. That's how we roll.
I was fit on the first one. But anyway, what a wonderful, wonderful gesture by the mascot. Outstanding effort for him. She goes from tears, she's covering her eyes, she's embarrassed, gives her a basketball, and she's all smiles.
We like it.
God bless her. All right. Fantastic. All right. Now it's time for Courtside with our correspondents. D. Ruck, he's got Queensland. What have you got for us? A little yes and a little no, maybe.
Yeah, well, Mike Kelly is now in charge of one of the hottest teams in the NBL. The Cairns Taipans have now beaten Melbourne United and the Perth Wildcats twice. They are very tough at home now, and you know what Mike Kelly's done? He's figured it out. Keep your best players on the floor as much as possible, and that gives you the best chance to win basketball games. The Brisbane Bullets, on the other hand, are in a bleak state at the moment. They scored 60 plus in the first half for the second time this season, only to lose the lead in the second half at home to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. I really like how the Phoenix play, but back to the Bullets. You got to change these imports. What is taking so long? Is it stubbornness? Is it money? I don't know, but something has to happen. Lamar Patterson looks like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He hasn't lost weight. His game has really started to decline over the past 6 weeks. Things aren't looking good in Bullets land, but let's see if they can bounce back strong this week. Guys, talk to you on Monday. Have a great week.
Well, former MVP in the league, Derek Rucker with the Brisbane Bullets, and the Brisbane Bullets taking a little slide. He doesn't mind getting a little jab in every now and
They
then.
stink. Should have been a haymaker. But Cairns are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to give Cairns props. I like
Yeah,
Cairns.
Cam's, I really like what they're doing.
All right, Nick Lakovic, his heart will be bleeding because the Perth Wildcats, they stunk it up too. What do you got, mate?
Well, to put it simply, it was probably the worst performance I've seen in 10 years by the Perth Wildcats in areas that they measured themselves on and have won championships on. No energy, no effort, no conviction, and certainly not the heart of a championship Wildcats team that we saw last year. The question needs to be asked, why? Well, when Trevor Gleeson was asked during the press conference, how does he narrow the gap between the worst and the best so far in their performances? His answer was, I don't know. The big question right now is how does he get more out of Dario Hunt? Once again, limited to 14 minutes and clearly a lack of confidence in putting him back in the game. Not playing him at all in the fourth quarter, limited minutes in the third, and opting to go with more inexperienced players and a smaller lineup. Didn't work. Defensive transition, a key area of concern right now, and so is their rebounding. No real interior targets to be able to contain the interior targets of the Adelaide team. Daniel Johnson had a field day and a career night, 29 points and 17 rebounds. Things are going to need to change and change quick if there are any chance to continue, firstly, to make the playoffs, and secondly, to compete for another championship.
Well, this is going to surprise you. There's a couple of things for me that's wrong with the Perth Wildcats. So Cotton and White, great two imports. Obviously, as Lacko said, no faith in Dario Hunt from Gleeson. He's playing him like 14 minutes a game. But the two guys that I really like, Nick Kay, All-Star 5 last year. I expected him to go to another level. It's almost like he's just happy to play a role. For me, he's 20 and 10. Go get 20 and 10. Your team needs it. And the other one is Mitch Norton. He signed a pretty good contract, I think, out of Illawarra. And it was like they paid him to then be that next player coming up on the fringe of the Boomers and everything else. But he's still playing like a role player coming off the bench and hasn't really fit into it. And I like him. I think he's a good kid, but he needs to take the bull by the horns and start performing.
Okay, here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity for me to express how I feel. You come at me with a lot of this American stuff, like guys hurt, and then all of a sudden he miraculously jumps up. He's in a wheelchair, kind of like Paul Pierce when he was in a wheelchair, and then he comes out to play. And that's like an American trait that you kind of throw at me. Now I get to throw an Australian trait at some of these guys that play in the NBL. Okay, one good game out of 4, got a good contract.
For who?
For Australians, they kind of settle into that. Oh, I'm going to say Cam Glidden.
Yeah?
Yeah?
What's that got to do with the Perth Wildcats and Kay and Norton?
Well, they're Australians. They got their good contract, and then all of a sudden, they're not playing to represent their country anymore. They're not hungry anymore. They got a nice little fat paycheck paying their mortgage, and they have the ability to play one good game out of 3, one good game out of 4, not to step up when their team needs them, when their personnel is down. They're not playing like a guy that is about to lose his job if they don't perform.
Kay's been better than that, but I think he's got way more upside. I think Mitch is a little bit guilty of that. And Cam, I think at stage is happy to play a role rather than actually go, nah, I am so much better than this and I'm going to help my team get wins.
All right. Well, you heard it here.
I agree.
All right. Let's check out the Prospect Watch. 3, 2, 1. Who have you got? There were some great performances by the prospects.
No, this is overall. This is overall for the season so far. 3, 2, 1. And I've had to leave out a couple of people we'll talk about. But in number 3, Didi Louzada. And he's at number 3. He's got 11 points and nearly 5 rebounds. Only shooting at 38%, but I put him in the top 3 because he's helping his team get wins. They're the top of the table, and a lot gets taken away from him because he's got so much to share. Number 2, Kawat Noi made number 2 because he's made his team better. In Cairns, he has had significant games, 12 points a game, over 7 rebounds, 40% from the field. He's been impressive. I really like this kid, and he deserves to be number 2. He said he was going to be number 1. Right now, he's just a little bit short of that.
I'd just like to say that I thought he was going to be a lot of talk and not back it up. He's the opposite. He just goes out there and hoops, hardly says a word.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. And number 1, no surprise, LaMelo Ball is on top of the list. 17 points a game, 7 assists, 7.5 rebounds. Hasn't shot the ball well at only 37%, but he's impressive. Whether you like the family or don't like the family or him, he's an impressive kid. He can get it done. A few things that he needs to work on. But honourable mentions. RJ Hampton, 10 points a game, and probably because his team sucks.
Yeah.
His team sucks.
I was going to ask you why no RJ Hampton.
I think it's hard.
Yeah.
He's in a bad situation. He would certainly ask to be traded. And Will Magnay. That kid is impressive. He's got huge upside. He's one of our favourites, 5 rebounds a game. He'll be a starter in the NBL next year. If it's not for Brisbane, it will be for somebody else.
That's right. You can take that. You can take that to the
Do you agree
bank.
with those numbers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I probably would have gotten RJ in there. But like you said, with Didi having to share it around, and at times when his team needs him to step up, he's been able to do that. And I like that in a player. When his number is called, he's been able to do that. And the Sydney Kings have had a number of games where it had different people do it. So, yeah.
I can't wait. You know what I can't wait for is what these guys have done and what next stars we see next year because of the publicity that's been created in the States. And other players are going to say, you know what? I want a piece of that.
That's going to be a flood of prospects that we'll be commenting on.
It's time now for the Unibet game preview. Who's hot? Who's not?
Well, all right, let's get into it. Rapid fire like New Zealand at the Cairns Taipans.
Can I just say that my friends at Unibet wait for the text every week because we have been on fire, including Adelaide to beat Perth. You heard it on the show last week. New Zealand at Cairns, no chance. Cairns are rolling. But what we need to see from them is some consistency. When they were favourite, they've lost 3 games, I think, to the Illawarra Hawks, right? Yeah. Games that you would have expected they would be able to beat, teams that they would be able to beat, and then they've been able to surprise on the upside. So they need consistency, but they should get it done. I'm going 11 plus because New Zealand stink.
I'm going 1 to 10, but I would like to point out, talk about that inconsistency. Cam Oliver, 26 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks versus Melbourne United, one of the best teams in the competition, I think. And he stunk it up. Absolutely.
The week before.
Oh, my God, at Illawarra. He was terrible. Oh. No. Man.
Good player, but consistency, we need that.
Sydney Kings on the road in Perth. The measuring stick of your team is when you go to Perth and you have to get a win there.
I cannot believe it. I got a call from Unibet to say that the Perth Wildcats are favourites in this game. They will have to change dramatically. People will have to change their form to be able to knock off the title favourites. Sydney Kings are rolling. Who is going to step up for the Wildcats? Especially with Cotton is the one that's most likely to go off. But when you're playing against some very good defenders that will be so far up in his grill, it will be a challenge for the rest of the team to stand up. Yeah. I'm going the Sydney Kings 11 plus.
I'm going the Perth Wildcats 1 to 10.
Really?
Now, on the show, I'm going 1 to 10 with the Perth Wildcats getting a win. I think Sydney need to get stung a little bit to get that fire in their belly to continually. I think you need a loss every now and then. I think that'll help them. But let me just say this. I'm going Perth Wildcats here, but Unibet, I'm going to Sydney Kings. That's just a good bet right there. It's as simple as that. My money is on the Kings. All right. My opinion is on the Wildcats. The Adelaide 36ers, I really like that one. All right.
I really like Melbourne United to bounce back. When you talk about bouncing back after 2 losses, because they were rolling.
I think we're going to agree on this one in the spread.
Yeah, I'm going 11 plus Melbourne United. Really. I think they'll fire. Adelaide have been impressive. Adelaide have got a little bit of fight to them, but they're going to go down.
Yeah, I agree. I think Melbourne United stung. And Melo Trimble, I know that Casper Ware had a good game, but they were going at it. He's got he's got a million hezzies. And his floaters are ridiculous.
He's good.
Floaters are ridiculous. Okay, the Illawarra Hawks against the Brisbane Bullets.
Well, these are the games that the Brisbane Bullets fire up because they just pick on the teams down the bottom. That's what they've done. They've only beaten one decent team this year, and that's the Perth Wildcats. And the Perth Wildcats. No, they haven't. They go and smash. They'll beat the Illawarra Hawks by 11 plus. That's just what they do.
They haven't beaten one decent team.
They have. They've beaten one decent team, which is the Perth Wildcats. But that's the only decent team they've won.
All right. I think they're going to beat up on them.
Yeah, 11 plus.
All right. I agree. Perth Wildcats. See, they're going to Southeast Melbourne. That's my team that every week I look and see how they're doing.
And Southeast Melbourne got flogged the last time they played against Perth in Perth. They will remember that, and they will come out breathing fire. I think Perth lose both that week, next weekend, and I think Southeast Melbourne get a 1 to 10 win.
1 to 10, I agree.
I like them too.
Cairns Taipans at the Sydney Kings.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I like Cairns, but you're going down. You're going down
They're
against
going to get
the
their
Kings.
hat handed to
So
them.
the only thing is, like you said before, is that as long as Sydney don't start playing with teams a little bit, if they put a foot on the throat and continue to be able to play the way they've been playing with that mindset, they should beat Cairns 11 plus.
Yeah, I like the way the Sydney Kings pulled away from Melbourne United in the second. Well, actually, it was late in the first quarter with that second unit. And that second unit came in, D'ing it up. It gave them a little bit something extra. All right, Brisbane Bullets at New Zealand.
This is another one for the Brisbane Bullets. They'll get this win over there because it's against another bad team. That's what they'll do.
They're going to go on the road.
Yeah. They will win 1 to 10 probably. They will make that happen.
Well, all right. Let's get into the NBA. Shane, you've been picking some winners.
I love the NBA at the moment, and so do my friends at Unibet.
I know.
We've got 3 big games, mate.
Get your notepads out, boys.
Utah
it could be profitable.
host the Lakers. I love both these teams, but I'm going to go for LeBron to win 1-10 on the road. That could be an upset because Utah's good at home.
Yeah, Utah's good at home. That's why I'm going to go with Utah. I just like the way they put their team together. All right, Toronto, another team that's really kind of rolling. You feel that unity with them.
Yeah.
Toronto hosts the Houston Rockets. That's like lack of unity.
Lack of unity versus unity. Toronto have really done well considering they lost Kawhi Leonard. So they've been impressive, particularly at home, had some massive wins. I'm going to go for them 1-10 in a high-scoring game. The Beard, who had 60 the other day, was coming over half court. In 3 quarters, coach said, you better get them up because you're not playing the last quarter because we're up 50. So he did. I kind of respected it, but kind of resented it.
All right.
Yeah.
I go with anybody that's playing against Houston. I just can't stand watching them play. Milwaukee hosts the LA Clippers.
Oh, I like
that's
both
gonna be
these
a barn
teams.
burner. They're just evenly matching and go at it.
They
Feel
are.
it. Yeah.
This is a tough one to pick. I really like both teams. Milwaukee will be tough at home. Really well-balanced team and disciplined as well. But the Clippers, they're looking good too. Paul George has really fit in with Kawhi. They're good. I'm going to go Milwaukee just because they're at home 1-10.
I'm going to go with Milwaukee just because every time I watch the Greek Freak with one dribble past half court's a dunk. It's just not even fair. Not fair at all. All right. X's and O's. Shane, tell us about this segment. How does it work?
All right, so we're going to go back and just revisit some of the early predictions before the season started, and then we're going to give each team a bit of a ranking on how we think they've performed.
Okay, let's blaze through the bottom teams. Okay, this is how you picked them. This is number 8 for you, the Cairns Taipans. What are you going to give them?
Well, Cairns have been great. They really have. Really impressive. Mike Kelly's done a great job. I'm giving them a B+, but they should have beaten the Illawarra Hawks 3 times. That's the only time they've poked themselves in the eye. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to give them a B because, I had them.
You don't like the sloppiness of being
That's
drawing
right.
on that.
I know I'm Virgo. I'm particular with them. I know. I'm particular with those things. So a B. But I love Cairns. So let's just keep going. Adelaide 36ers. This is a
B+ as well, because I picked them second last before they had Jerome Randall. Obviously, he's made a difference to them, but they're still not going to make the top 4. Great win last week, though.
Yeah, right. I still feel like they're a little inconsistent. If Jerome Randall has a big game, then they're B+.
What do you got?
Yeah, B+.
What are you calling him?
What? A B+. You had it in your hand.
Oh, you're going
Yeah,
B+.
I'm going to go B+. I'm going to agree with you. How about the Illawarra Hawks?
I'm giving them a B. I think for the lack of talent, they've lost Brooks. I think they're playing for their coach. They're playing together. I think it looked bad at one stage, but can you please get an import, a star import?
Yeah. What are they waiting on?
Oh, my goodness. You get a B, though.
I know.
They've been good.
I'm going to give them a C. A little good, a little bad. The bad is they're inconsistent, and they're hard to watch sometimes. My goodness, they have those scoring droughts. And then they're great. The fact that they can draw sellout crowds on the road is incredible. They really need to pick it up at home. That's for sure.
Do.
Okay, give them a C. New Zealand.
Well, you had them second, though, didn't you?
Just when I think I'm going to slide one past the wicketkeeper.
Oh, I've
Like
just
that?
made up my own little one.
I know, you like that?
Hey?
See how I went straying on that? Right past the wicketkeeper? All right, New Zealand.
Yeah, they get that.
Yeah.
You know what that stands for?
I like to have a surprise
They're terrible.
on every segment. Like,
They're terrible.
pick an underdog, but man.
What do you give them?
That was wrong. I'm going to give them a D just because that F was really messy and I'm particular.
Okay.
All right, Southeast Melbourne. I love
B+.
them.
I like them too.
Yeah, I'm giving them an A.
They've been
giving
good.
them an A. I love Tommy Greer.
They're the
I love
complete
the way he's
opposite.
put it together. Yeah.
Aren't they?
They sure
Compared
are.
to the way New Zealand have built their team and the culture displayed at Southeast Melbourne compared to New Zealand, B+. Well done.
All
Keep
right,
it up.
Okay, we only have so much time on the segment, or I'd go on and on about Southeast Melbourne. I love them. The Bris Vegas Bullets.
Mate, they were 4th last year, looking to build. Andre Lamana said that he recruited a team. He only said this last week. He can't understand that people think that his team's imbalanced.
Yeah. Well,
Or unbalanced, imbalanced. He can't understand it. And he believes the team he's recruited can win the championship.
or unbalanced
They
or
get-
imbalanced.
they
You
get-
could at least admit that you were wrong. Andre Lamanis, he can't admit that he's wrong. He's the Fonz. He's wrong. He hasn't gotten it right.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah. Perth Wildcats.
Well,
Perth.
they've been disappointing. We spoke about the fact they need a few to step up. They get a C at the moment.
Yeah. I'm going to give them a C.
C as well.
I'm going to give them a C because, you know what? I'd probably give them a C-, but I never like to underestimate these guys. Somehow they magically make the playoffs and have a crack at the championship every single year.
you
So
don't
I can't
like
give them,
being messy,
Oh, yeah, I know.
but you're going to have to get it. The Sydney
The
Kings.
Sydney Kings.
How could-
You had them second.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. No,
Where'd you have them?
I'm trying to get back at you
had
for the
a
New
third or
Zealand
fourth.
thing.
All right. No, the Sydney Kings, from the way they have been put together, their balance, the way they complement each other, the roles, how hard they play on defense, and they've recruited really well.
Yeah.
Good role players. You can't fault them. How can you fault them? They're the hottest team in the league.
Yeah, and they have all bought in. And, and they've got Craig Moeller. They've done a great job of getting the Central Coast kid back. They got, of course, who they got coming in? Zabe Cooks?
Yeah,
Zabe Cooks?
Cooks.
That's ridiculous.
Get it done.
And Kevin Lish.
Shot clock.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And
Kevin Lish.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
I'm
Melbourne United.
I'm just giving them a B, straight B. Because they started off, they had a few injuries. Prather's been out, he's still not right. They had to go to the States, so they lost momentum. Got some momentum back. Bad week last week, but they'll be in the top 2.
Okay, I agree.
B?
I agree because we're running out of time. All right, of course, you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, and always you can check us out on Facebook. I'm Steve Carfino. That's Shane Hill. We'll see you next time.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.